Welcome to the channel, everybody. NCtheMessenger. I'm NC, and today we're going to be jumping in a video with Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. Now, they're two separate videos, but Candace kind of brings up the Kanye situation, an old situation in where he was drugged by his, I want to say, trainer, and how he was trying to tell everybody what was happening to him. And I remember the days when he was doing this and everybody thought he was crazy or something else was going on. Candace touches on it, and she does a great job as usual doing her journalistic thing and touching on her thoughts on the situation and her understanding of the situation. And she kind of brings it home with a Tucker Carlson video that I want everybody to see if you haven't already seen it. It's always good to see it again. I know I've seen these and I watched them again, and for some reason they're just hitting home right now. And with everything being exposed and seeing Kanye take these, left turns and look like he's just gone off the deep end, this kind of also brings it into perspective and, bring back the prayers for Kanye and remember his journey and how he came to this situation by speaking truth to power. And so I really wanted to play this video and get your guys' reaction and thoughts on it because, I'm always here to learn. The best teacher is a student. So please like and subscribe to this channel so we can keep bringing these videos to you and then we keep discussing them and hopefully bring some justice to the people who need it. So without any further ado, let's jump right in to this video, Miss Candace Owens.
I have not been present. I was not present whenever this Batman movie was played. People are like, are you going to comment on what his wife is wearing? I've never even met Bianca Censori. So it feels like you're trying to draft me into everything Kanye says and does. And I'm not interested in it. Because when I was actually interested in discussing that was of import to me, something that was of import for me, the media ignored it. And I will forever, I want to be very clear, I will forever respect Ye for what I believe he did, what I know he did, which was him revealing a sinister Hollywood government type MK Ultra program, which almost killed him. Okay. The media has ignored this for so long. And as everybody calls him crazy and comments on what is going on, you are forgetting that Kanye came and provided evidence that they were, and as we have now learned, and we have learned about the MK Ultra program, we have read chaos as we reflect on JFK, as we reflect on RFK, Kanye came out and said, this happened to me. The cocktail of drugs, they tried to make me go crazy when I came out and said that I supported Donald Trump. Go find clips of Ye before that, before they put him in the hospital and after they put him in the hospital. And then learn or ask yourself why it is that Harley Pasternak, who is involved in psychiatrics, we're going to get to all of that. And when Kanye presented a text message where he was threatening him, saying, I will take you to La La Land, that we ignored that. Why did we ignore somebody exposing a plausible CIA MK Ultra design that is still happening in Hollywood? We talked about what happened to Britney Spears. I think she got that full treatment. I think they quite literally drugged her out of her mind. And I think that they got damn close with Kanye, and he still recalls it. And he is telling us over and over again who did this to him, as well as providing textual evidence. So I don't really care for people to deflect about what his wife is wearing until we address the text messages that Kanye revealed to the world that no one wants to speak about. I'm going to remind you of that because Tucker Carlson did a brilliant monologue on that when he was back on Fox, of what Harley Pasternak said and what the threat was and what the media ignored. So this is a little long, but I think that you guys need to remember it. Take a listen.
So in the run-up to this week's midterm elections, there are a lot of celebrities out there campaigning for Democratic candidates all over the country. You probably saw them, actors, singers, TikTok personalities, all doing their part for the Democratic Party. You probably weren't surprised by this. It's normal. Pop culture figures always support Democrats, every single one of them. But have you ever wondered why all of these supposedly creative people reach exactly the same conclusion every time? They're all on the same page. How could that happen? It's an interesting question. We don't know the answer, but you should consider what happened when one of the most famous singers in the world broke with the herd. On November 19th, 2016, a week and a half after Donald Trump won the presidential election, Kanye West, now known as Ye, held a concert in Sacramento. Most people in the audience were, of course, young people and presumably Hillary Clinton voters and presumably deeply disappointed by her loss a week and a half before. So in the middle of the show, West stopped performing and started talking about politics. Google lied to you, he said, by suggesting to its users that Hillary was going to win. Quote, Facebook lied to you. I'm not here to massage you with a fake truth telling you that Hillary's going to win over and over and over. You were lied to by Google. You were lied to by Mark Zuckerberg. Middle America, West continued, showed you how they felt. Well, at this point, some of the audience began to boo, but West kept going. He complimented Donald Trump repeatedly. At one point, he used the phrase, make America great again. It was, to put it mildly, not the kind of thing you normally hear at a rap concert. And then, 2 days later, Kanye West was in the hospital. Well, at the house of his family's exercise trainer, a man called Harley Pasternak, West apparently suffered some kind of mental break. Pasternak called an ambulance to pick him up. West was taken away, and then he was sedated with at least 7 different psychiatric medications, including benzodiazepines, lithium, sleeping pills, and olanzapine. News reports suggested that West had experienced a profound psychiatric episode. He'd gone completely off the deep end. He'd gone crazy, and they've been saying that ever since. West, over time, though, told a very different story. In his telling, after what he'd said on stage in Sacramento, Harley Pasternak was trying to shut him up. Pasternak, he said, was not simply a trainer, but instead an agent of ideological control. Pasternak's job was to keep West from straying from the script, and he's willing to use powerful drugs to do it. That's what he said. But very few people took that claim seriously. In fact, it was exactly the kind of thing a crazy person would say. My trainer drugged me into submission. He's trying to make me into a zombie. Right. Sure he did. Have another olanzapine shot, Kanye. You look tired. So that's where the story stood until the other day. Nobody believed Kanye West. Then West posted something remarkable on Twitter, which for some reason virtually all of American media ignored, which is odd because media outlets are not usually in the business of ignoring remarkable things, but they did. And what he posted was a picture of a text exchange that he had had with Harley Pasternak. Pasternak was explaining that West had better stop saying, quote, crazy stuff. In other words, he'd better get back on script, or else he would be severely punished. Quote, second option, if you don't shut up, quote, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you, and you go back to zombie land forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same, end quote. Try, if you can, to imagine a more sinister threat than that, a more chilling threat than that. Do what I say, or I will turn your brain to mush. I will destroy your relationship with your own children. I will send you back to, quote, zombie land forever. Effectively, I'll kill you. Now, keep in mind, this is from West's, quote, trainer, not his physician. This is the guy he'd hired to help him do squats. A trainer? Really? Did they talk like that at your gym? Probably not. So what's going on here exactly? Well, according to his bio, Harley Pasternak, who was not denied writing these texts, once worked for the Canadian military, where he participated in experiments that measured the effect of various drugs on the human mind. Is that training relevant to this story? We don't know. We do know that based on this text exchange, which again, Harley Pasternak has not said is untrue or fake, on the basis of that, law enforcement agencies definitely ought to be looking very closely at Harley Pasternak, who, by the way, apparently has dozens of other celebrity clients, some of whom seem to be out there campaigning. Based on these texts, this looks like a crime. Why is no one investigating it? The fact that no one is investigating it tells you a lot.
And so I want to be very clear that I have had conversations with Ye about what was done to him in that hospital, and I will never turn my back on him. I think he did one of the bravest things in the world. I think he survived, and a real effort to give him a cocktail of drugs to make him clinically insane. And we know that this cocktail of drugs exists. We know about Dr. Jolly West. We know about the CIA MK Ultra program. And for those of you that are a part of my book club and have read Chaos, you understand how real that is. Yeah, that's just where I stand on it. And so you were asking me if Kanye was ever the same after Harley Pasternak got to him and institutionalized him. No, obviously Kanye changed, but Kanye remembers what happened to him. And the media, I believe, hates him because of that very reason, because Kanye has been telling people for years that Harley Pasternak is not just a gym trainer. And no one knows any gym trainer that texts you and threatens to institutionalize you and take you away from your kids that formerly worked for the military. Speaking of his celeb clients, just showing you some on his website here. That's a lot of people to be training at the gym. Everyone from Gwyneth Paltrow to Kim Kardashian, Katy Perry. Man, what's this guy's gym routine for someone with military training? I mean, literally, we could scroll forever and you could just see how many A-listers he manages at the gym. Some who I can't imagine have that great of a workout routine. And it really does make you wonder why we are always getting the same things said out of Hollywood. But there are some clients that have always struck me as odd. Harley Pasternak has also had a lot of clients who have died, in strange circumstances. Brittany Murphy, do you remember her? She died back in 2009, collapsed in the bathroom of her home, and she was found unconscious. She was then transported to the hospital. She was extremely young when she died. The autopsy results say that she died of pneumonia and iron deficiency. Okay. Pasternak claimed that Brittany's husband, who then died shortly thereafter as well, had hired him to work with Brittany Murphy. So that's interesting. Then Mac Miller, I don't know if you remember, the 26-year-old rapper who died also of an accidental drug overdose. Pasternak had told Page Six that he was just about to see Miller. Miller was just about to walk into his studio on the day that he died. He said, quote, "I was mid-session with someone expecting him to show up about 45 minutes later. One of the ladies who works with me walked in with a kind of blank look on her face and held up her phone, and there was the news release about Miller's death." And then there's Aaron Carter, to connect the dots with you, because this one has always bothered me the most. On the very day that Kanye West tweeted out Harley Pasternak's tweets, Aaron Carter responded to Kanye West. You can see that date on November 3rd, responded to that text message that Kanye shared. And he said, "Yo, Kanye, let's talk man to man." They never had the opportunity to talk because less than 48 hours later, Aaron Carter was found dead. He died at his home in Lancaster, California, at the age of 34, and his body was found in a bathtub by his housekeeper. And the LA County Medical Examiner's coroner, and you guys know if you're reading Chaos, that what they rule these deaths means absolutely nothing compared to what the facts are, that it was just accidental. He drowned after he wanted to speak to Kanye West about the Harvey Pasternak text messages. Harley Pasternak, pardon me. Quite stunning stuff, quite amazing stuff. So I wanted to share that with you because it has bothered me spiritually that people continue to attack Kanye and to attack him and to call him crazy without listening to his version of events that he has told many times about who and what made him crazy, who hospitalized him, threatened him, and gave him a cocktail of medicine. Like I said, when you read that book, you understand that Jolly West, quite literally, as a part of a CIA program, said that they had successfully found a cocktail of drugs which could give people mental illnesses. If they needed them to forget something, they needed them to stop doing something, they could just give them a cocktail of drugs and that would be over. And now I'd like to draw your attention to Harley Pasternak's 2019 interview that he gave to Escape Fitness, discussing his military training and the impact of drugs for the military. Take a listen.
And the area that I was interested in was how drugs and food affect muscular performance. And
when you say drugs, are that like performance enhancing drugs? Or are they
all
just
kinds of drugs?
Oh, right. Okay.
So working for the military, I wasn't governed by the same laws that the typical person was. So I could look at the impact of certain drugs that are not everyday things. So we looked at a drug called modafinil, which was for narcoleptics. So if you give a soldier this drug, how long could they stay awake for without having any health detriment?
Is that used now as one of these brain drugs? I've heard the name before somewhere.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. Modafinil, it will keep you awake, but it's not a stimulant.
Really?
So if a special forces person has to stay awake for 3 nights waiting for the right opportunity to do whatever they have to do, we could give them modafinil and it would keep them alert.
So if you want to know who I believe is a monster, Harley Pasternak would be that individual. And as I said, I think that Ye barely escaped with his life. And I will always view him and deem him to be a survivor. And I will always deeply respect that he has come out and he has spoken about what happened to him. And if people would stop mocking him and actually start listening to what he says happened to him, we might be able to unwind a lot of the evil that has been going on in Hollywood since it was established. That's all I'm going to say about that topic.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep Candace up there. She does such a great job speaking on these issues with such emotion, such heart, and she is smart as all heck. So shout out to Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, always doing God's work out here. What do you guys think? I find this, it just struck a nerve when I seen it. I've heard these stories before, but when I just saw Kanye doing DJ Academics podcast, and he's dressed in a black, what looks to be a Klan outfit, I don't know, and you see all these things on the red carpet and, you know, passing. When I'm doing some research on YouTube, I see all these things and I go, man, Kanye, what happened to walking with Jesus and what have you? But you forget what he was trying to say, as Candace was saying in the beginning. He was yelling fire. You know, there's a fire over here. They're taking my kids. They're taking me. They're drugging me. And, you know, everybody, it was kind of new, and nobody knew Kanye to be like that. They knew him to be maybe arrogant or childish or somewhat, would say a genius, even, you know, that eccentric kind of personality, which I always related him to. But never something like that. So when he started saying something like that, it was quick for a lot of people to say crazy. And of course, with the media behind it, it just spread like wildfire. He was crazy, man. He's bipolar, and all these, you know, names and people's opinions start coming up. And I didn't know, and I don't ever pretend to know. So I'm, you know, I pray for him, and I liked his music, and I hoped, and I remember his mom's death and how that must have affected him. And I just kind of all kept that in. But I do remember this, and I'm glad Candace brought it up again. I'm glad these things are coming back up again, because Candace doesn't shy away from bringing back the beginning and where she was and where she stands with people. And she's so right about it. It's because in the age of information, we're overwhelmed with this idea of, oh my gosh, this is real. Hawaii's on fire. Next thing you know, actually the borders are open. We're worried about that. Next thing you know, this is happening. And by the time somebody even gets any kind of feeding on a subject, there's the next presidential election and we're all in. So I know it just moves so fast, and especially here in the States and in the West, you know, there's always something to talk about. And now that things are being exposed for what they are, and people are taking their eyes off Hollywood and putting them on the government, it's the best movie I've seen in a long time. Now you're seeing real drama. Now you're seeing real conspiracies and mysteries kind of unraveling. And I think that's why I got a lot of people on these sites and looking into this, because this is better than any movie. All these movies were, you know, jokes compared to what we're watching play out in real life. But the issue and the problem I have is that we move on so fast, like it is a movie. What's on? What else is on? You know, we're kind of hunting for the next big story instead of trying to stick on one. And this is what it all comes down to me, is truth will prevail. How fast that truth prevails really comes up, lands on us right now, who have platforms, our own families that we're raising. That could be your platform, talking to your children about this. No more of this. You know, I remember hearing about Hollywood being crazy and evil when I was younger, but I always thought of it as parents just trying to make you not watch certain, you know, things and trying to keep you on the right path. But there has to be talks now in families about, hey, this is actually what they're doing over there. If you believe this, which I do, and I speak to the youth about this, you know, you can't no longer say, well, it's my opinion. This is what's happening. You got to be real. You can't listen to the naysayers on the other side calling you a conspiracy theorist, because honestly, as Candace and Tucker and everybody's proving, and so many voices are proving right now, MK Ultra used to be a bad word when it would be on the internet. Now it's like, yeah, actually, that was a thing. That is a thing. That's actually true. And then, okay, well, vaccines and all these other things that people have questions about, you know, people are starting to talk about these truths out loud. And a lot of the people you would deem crazy 10 years ago are actually should be the ones that have the platforms now, because, you know, they were screaming this from the beginning. But I just want to bring attention to this, because I do believe that this all comes back to revelation, you know, this unveiling that's happening, you know. And a lot of people think once we know the truth, then everything will change. But that's not the way it happens. And in human history shows us with that. And if you're Christian, you've seen it with Jesus. God can come down and be eyelid to eyelid with you and raise people from the dead, raise from the dead himself, cure the blind, and right in front of you, and you would still abandon him, deny him, and crucify that truth. So it shows us that we just have it in us as human beings, in our fallen nature, to reject truth. So Bob Marley once said in the Redemption song, you know, we got to fulfill the book. So in our time, the best thing we can do is keep helping reveal this truth. And hopefully when enough people believe it, not just hear the truth, but listen to it and believe it, because it wasn't enough that people saw Jesus do all those things. You had to have faith, and you had to believe the truth. Once enough people see the truth, hopefully enough people will believe in the truth, and then we will see a great change. So I hope that all these people and all these platforms and anybody from their platform speaks the truth, and more importantly, believes it, has faith in the truth. And for me, the truth is Jesus Christ. And I do believe that we are in these times, that the unveiling, or another word for that, would be the revelation. But it doesn't mean that when everything's revealed, we aren't going to see great change. It comes in the faith in what we're seeing. So I do believe we're in those times. I do believe that good things are coming, and we will see them in the land of the living. But we do have to hold on to hope, not become hopeless, and continue to speak truth to anybody who will listen and believe in that truth that we speak and live that truth, and pray for all those who are outside of that truth or rejecting that truth, because it's really easy to judge people, because a lot of us were on the other side of the aisle, or, you know, persecuting truth at one point in our life because we truly believed it was a lie, be it when we were teenagers, adults, whatever it may be. And then after so much of hearing the truth, we start to believe what we see, hear, and can touch, and having faith in what we can't. So on that note, I hope these videos continue to come out and we can discuss these things. What's your belief on this? What do you think is going on here? How do you feel about Kanye? Why isn't anybody doing anything? And does this all can be really, really hyper brought to justice, if you will, if those Epstein files would come out? You know, all these people get to move in this covert fashion around the world with no consequences. And we have all this power, we would think, by the people we voted into office, and that we take that revelation and the revealing of these truths would actually be out already, so that we can start the process of maybe deconstructing what was and start building something better, built on truth. But right now, it seems that we're not, that we're kind of waiting for this revelation to people that should have revealed it a long time ago. So what's your thoughts on that also? You know, these Epstein files, the Diddy things, and all this stuff that's happening, why haven't we received any of that truth? You know, if we really want to bring all these people who are withholding information and the things that they've done in the past, all we would have to do is reveal a lot of these things. The only reason I can grasp why people wouldn't want to unleash the information on Epstein and all this other stuff is because people in power that we have voted for, or people that we still back, are part of that. And they're in power now, and they're still keeping it withheld because it will affect them in a negative way. That's how I see it. There's no other way to see it unless it gets revealed, unredacted, and right for the people to see. Then there's always going to be question. But lucky I don't put none of my trust in men. I only put it in God, and in God's time, all things will be revealed. So on that note, please hit that like and subscribe. I love having these conversations and people that message me back and ask me questions or give me answers. Man, it's always, you know, you can change my mind sometimes when you tell me the truth, because I might still be living in a fantasy in some of these thoughts and ideas that I have. So I'm always open to hear some perspectives all out there, all perspectives. So please like and subscribe, leave a comment, and send me some videos that you want to discuss, because I'm all in. Keep speaking truth to power, and Godspeed, everybody. I'm NC the Messenger. The message is always love. And remember, don't shoot the messenger.